Hello there. I hope you're doing great and having an amazing week. Life is good here in paradise. It is another spectacularly beautiful Friday morning. Um, what can I say? It's good. It's good here. Um, I hope you are doing well and enjoying life wherever you are. I know in many parts of the world right now, in mid-December, it's a little chilly. I feel for you. Maybe you enjoy that. I don't particularly. Um, all right, we got lots of folks joining us. Welcome, glad you're here. I'm happy to answer your questions today. Feel free to post them, and I will start with what we have here currently on YouTube. Let's see. All right. Martin says, "Hi, Loren. I have." Let me change the angle here. Okay, I have 200 euro RO. I don't know what that. I have 200 euro reverse osmosis, and the seller says that it filters all of the minerals. You don't recommend using mineralizers, so is it smart to mix it with a little spring water high in minerals? You can do that. I seriously doubt that a $200, 200 euro RO machine is going to take out all the minerals. But if it does, you don't want to use that water as it is. You'd be much better off. You can get clean spring water. That's far better. Far better. I mean, that's natural water. We don't want water going through a machine if we can avoid it. Okay, we want the perfect water from nature if we can get that. That's always going to be best. So if you can get clean spring water, there's really no reason to drink anything else. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you. All right. Flyer says, "Hey, Loren, years ago, my family doctor told me it's harmful to the kidneys to walk more than 7 or so kilometers a day, or about 90 minutes daily, because the muscles wear them out. Is there any truth in it?" Absolutely not. Walking doesn't wear out your kidneys. I don't know how walking would affect your kidneys at all, to be honest. But if there's a problem, the problem would occur if you were doing too much for your body. And walking for 90 minutes isn't doing too much. There should be no problem whatsoever. Okay, no problem at all. I wouldn't worry about that. Okay. We've got a super chat here. Sagittarius 75 has made it a $20 contribution. Thank you so much. And says, "Howdy, Loren. Can fasting cure herpes? Started getting cold sores on my mouth at age 8. Contracted genital herpes at age 32. I'm 46. Okay, so let me clarify something that's critically important, and you may mean exactly the same thing that I'm about to say, but I want to be as clear as possible. Fasting doesn't cure anything. Fasting doesn't heal anything. Not exactly. I mean, what's true is that our bodies, like every other organism, are completely self-healing and self-cleansing. What fasting does is it allows our amazing bodies the optimal conditions and opportunity to cleanse and heal. And so there's no better way to cleanse and heal the body than via fasting. And that's going to be true regardless of what the condition is, if the condition can heal. So the real question is, can one heal from herpes? And the answer is yes. We've seen many people do it. Now, some people say the virus is always in the body. And I can't argue with that because I don't know. I don't have any way to verify that or contradict that. I don't know. But I've had many clients with herpes fast with me and wind up where they never have any more symptoms. So if you have herpes in your body, but it never affects you again, does it matter? Do you care? I mean, if there's no breakouts, it's not contagious and you're not having issues with it, doesn't matter. So, for me, that would be healing as much as is possible. And yes, that definitely it seems to be possible because we've seen that over and over again. So there's no question. Now, you want to fast long enough? and you need to fast properly. That generally means having guidance, because doing this on one's own is usually very difficult to do. And to do it properly, you have to know what that means, what that looks like, and how to know how much water you need, if you're getting enough, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, there's no reason you can't heal from this. Many other people have. Okay. Flora and Fruit and Fit and Fruit, you are very, very welcome. Thank you so much for your kind comments. I appreciate that very much. And hello to everybody else joining here on Instagram. We've got some more comments over here on YouTube. Okay, Isabel says, hi, Lauren. Hello from Paris, France. Hello there. Glad you're here. Bonjour. That's about all the French I know, I'm sorry to say. Jana says, hi, Lauren. Watching you from Latvia here. Glad to see you, that you're with us from Latvia. I hope life is good in Latvia. Latvia is, I don't remember if Latvia is right next to Poland or if it's one of the countries a little further up the coast, but I'm guessing it's pretty cold up there right now. And so I hope you're keeping yourself warm. Okay, where were we? Fernando says, no está traduciendo, no le entiendo, una lástima. Fernando, estoy en vivo en inglés hoy y español ya, la misma hora, 9 en la mañana, viernes, todos los viernes en inglés, todos los sábados en español. Okay, so si no entiende, regresa mañana, siempre sábado. Okay, and for those of you, well, the rest of you here that do understand English, unfortunately, next week I won't be here. I'm sorry to say. I've been thinking about this, and I'm not sure if there's some other time I'll be able to do a live. It's Christmas Eve next Friday, and unfortunately, I have a meeting at a government office a couple hours from here. They dictated the time. I can't change it. I mean, I can cancel it, but it's hard to get a meeting with them, which we've been trying to get. And they said this was the only time available. This wasn't available, but somebody else canceled. Otherwise, I'd have to wait a month. And this is something we actually need to get done now. And so I will be there next Friday morning, and therefore won't be here next Friday morning, unfortunately. So this will be the last one, I think, for 2 weeks. If I can find a time, I'm not sure how I'll let you guys know. I may wind up going live. I guess just keep your eye out. If there's a chance, maybe I'll do a live broadcast another day. I don't know if maybe I can arrange to go on Thursday next week, but that might be possible. Maybe I'll plan to do Thursday next week. You know what? Let me take a look at my calendar while I'm thinking about this. And what I'll do is I do have time. So I'm going to go ahead and give me just a second here. Oops. Okay. Just going ahead and putting it on my calendar, because if I don't, I know I'll forget. So now it's done. It's there. I will be here in English on Thursday next week at 9 a.m. Okay. And then we'll be back to our regular Friday schedule. All right. So I'll look forward to seeing you Christmas time-ish. Jeffrey Samansky says, happy smash and grab holidays. Okay. To you too, I guess. Reliable Andrew says, hi, Lauren. On an average 21 or 30-day fast, when would you say the mucus plaque begins releasing? And for how long does it continue? Peace. Okay, so what happens for the average person is that there is no release of mucoid plaque until someone's eating for about 4 days, assuming that they have taken the coaching and gotten the correct amount of water through the fast. Okay, most people don't eliminate it while they're still fasting. It only happens after they begin eating, usually about 4 days into their feeding process. How long does it take depends entirely on how much somebody has and how hard and dry it is. So it can vary dramatically from person to person. I'm guessing that most people eliminate quite a bit of that over the course of the next 6 weeks. I think by the time most people complete 6 weeks, they've got most of it out. But I've had people take 2 years to get it all out. And we don't even know. I mean, all we know is that it stops coming out. That doesn't mean there isn't more in there. It just means that's all that's coming out now. It's really impossible to know what's happening, but this isn't something we can measure. So we see most people eliminate a ton of it after even a 21-day fast. Now, the older one is, the harder and more dry that stuff is. And so, you know, for many people, it would be better to do 26 days or 30 days. But it's impossible to say how long it's going to take. There's just no way to know that. Okay? I hope that helps. I wish I could tell you more, but it's not possible. Hello, Karine. How are you? Nice to see you here. Karine. That so I'm guessing from your name, that sounds like it could be French, European, somewhere. I'd love to know where you're from, what you're up to. Will Masters, good morning. Good morning to you, sir. Charlie says, hi, Loren. Thanks for your time. In terms of hydration, does your hydration drop when you go in the US eating more persimmons and figs, for example, or when your body is clean, it doesn't matter anymore? No, it always matters. I mean, if you get your body clean, but you focus on things that are low in water content, let's say you eat only bananas, which have less water than stool, okay? They have less water than stool. So if you live on bananas, you're going to be getting dehydrated. I mean, it would be hard to drink enough water to make up for the perfect water, because the water we drink is never going to be the same as the water in our foods. So we're going to have a hard time getting what we need. This is why, even after 30 years, and I think I said it last week, I forgot to say it when it happened. It was 3 weeks ago. I celebrated my 30-year anniversary living on fruit and salad. I focus for 30 years on high water content foods. And that doesn't mean I don't eat bananas or persimmons or figs, but I don't focus on them. Okay, so most of my meals are watermelons and papayas and pineapples and, you know, other things that are high in water, and salads a few times a week. The meals that are drier than that are relatively infrequent. There's not so much of that. Okay, and so it's important to understand that no matter how clean your body is, you want to keep it hydrated by eating the foods that are optimal for us. That's always going to be to focus on high water content foods. I think honestly, if you're connected to your thirst, truly, you know, truly living in your body's going to tell you that that's what it needs. The thing is that most people aren't very well connected. If they were, they wouldn't all be dehydrated. Most people are. We've measured thousands of people, more than 5,000 people here in the last 15 years. And so for most people, they can't rely on that. You know, if you could, your body would be telling you that it doesn't want just those dry things. Okay, it'd be hard to get enough water if that's all you were eating. Okay, I hope that makes sense. All right. Will Masters says, I've been trying to catch you live for weeks, realized I had your bell notifications disabled. Okay, well, now here you are. Glad to see you. Daniel is here, and message retracted. Hello, Daniel. I hope you're well. All right. Angry Minpin says, hello, Loren. Wondering if you have heard any travel updates for Costa Rica. Heard some places are requiring the jab to enter some areas. There was a law passed in Costa Rica to that effect probably a month ago, maybe a little more than a month ago. Within a week, the law was repealed. There was a group of people, a large group of people, including the tourism lobby, who sued the government, and it went to the Supreme Court within a week, and the law was repealed. They were defeated. So there is absolutely no laws requiring anything at this point to come into Costa Rica or to go anywhere. You don't need to, I mean, you still have to wear a mask in public places, but other than that, you know, it's like if you walk into a bank or a grocery store, they're going to want you to wear a mask. Most places, some places don't care, but most places still do. It's a shame, but that's how it is. Other than that, there's nothing. You don't need a PCR test. You don't need a jab. Okay. And I doubt that's going to change. I mean, they'd have to start all over again. I don't think that's going to happen. All right. T. Roman says, hey, Loren, from Poland. Pretty cold here. Challenge avoiding warm food. I have a question. I've tried twice to transition to mostly fruit and both times experienced constant sulfur gas. Why? Because the fruit is allowing your body to begin rehydrating old toxic material. Okay, and that's what happens. I mean, you can eliminate that, dramatically shortcut that and eliminate most of that gas by fasting, by getting the garbage out of your body by fasting long enough and properly. I can guide you if you can't get here, although it probably would be nice to get here this time of year. We open again, we close in a couple weeks, 3 more weeks here. So it's really too late now to do a significant fast. But we can take you on the 26th February. We're running out of space, folks. We're usually full. We're full now. We still have a few spaces open for the 26th of February when we reopen. If you can get here, then that'd be a good time to get out of Poland, I'm sure. Fasting long enough allows your body to rehydrate if you follow coaching and get rid of all the old garbage. And then afterwards, you'll have no problem eating fruit. We have seen this over and over and over again. It happens virtually every time. Okay. Erie Surfboard says, can fasting help a woman dealing with postpartum childbirth issues? Well, yeah. Again, fasting can help your body deal with almost anything. And when we so you're dealing with, I'm guessing, primarily emotional issues rather than physical ones. The physical issues are relatively simple and easy. That's straightforward. We stop putting garbage in the body, stop putting anything in the body, and the body can begin getting rid of the garbage. But we can also see huge benefits on the side of the emotional part, because when we get the body clean, we get the toxins out of the bloodstream, we emotionally feel much, much better. Okay, this is what happens. And so we see huge, huge benefits for most people most of the time. Chances are good it would be a very powerful, positive thing. All right. I see Bryce has a question here. I'm going to go to a super chat here on YouTube, and then I'll come back to you, Bryce. Angry Minpin has made a $50 contribution. Thank you so much. That's very generous, and I truly appreciate that. And Angry Minpin says, as always, thank you for providing so much free information in these weekly live chats. All the good vibes. Thank you so much. Again, it's very generous and very kind. I appreciate that very much. And I wish you the best now and always. Much, much love to you. Okay. So I'll answer Bryce, and then I'll come back and answer some of the other questions on YouTube. Bryce says in one of your YouTube videos, you say something like a 21-day fast is the only way to fully detox, or short of 3, 7, 14-day fast not worth it. Well, I mean, here's the issue, Bryce. It takes the body 10 to 11 days to get fully into the deepest part of the process. And so if you fast for 14 days, you've got very little time in the deepest part of the process. You'll get much more benefit by doing one more week. From going from 14 to 21, you'll get a lot more benefit. Now, obviously, longer than 21 days is more beneficial for most people. It's more powerful and more beneficial for most people. But doing 10 days, 14 days, there's not a lot of benefit for most people. Now, I'm not saying there's no benefit. There's always some benefit to the process, but it's far less than one would get. I mean, maybe half as much benefit as one might get by doing the full Monty, by doing at least 21 days, which is the minimum I generally recommend for just that reason. It is so much more powerful. Okay. Now, let me say something about this. You haven't asked, but one of the reasons that this comes up is there are many people who say, yeah, but I don't want to lose too much weight. I'm already very lean. I don't want to lose too much weight. So here's what you want to understand. In a 21-day fast, the average person will lose more than 50% of their weight loss will happen in the first week. More than 85% of the weight loss will happen by the end of the second week. So going one more week, there's very little additional weight loss for the average person. We're talking about 3 pounds or so. Okay. It's not a big deal. Okay. The extra benefit is well worth the extra weight loss. Okay. Done properly, this is what happens. Okay. And I mean, if you're new here, I have been running the world's largest water-only fasting center. In March, it will be 25 years. We have fasted thousands and thousands of people for an average of 26 days. This session alone I had 5 people set out to do 40 days or longer, 40 or 42 days. One did 38. I think 2 or 3 did 40, and 1 or 2 did 42. Okay. And so I know pretty well what I'm talking about. I have a lot of experience with this, more than anyone else alive today, I believe. So it's not that there's no benefit from these shorter fasts, but there's so much more benefit by going longer. To me, it just doesn't make much sense to do a much shorter fast if you can do a longer one. Okay, I hope that makes sense. All right, so let me come back. Maytal, I see your comment here. I'm going to go back to YouTube and respond to some questions here, and then I'll come back to you in just a couple minutes. All right, let me see here. Where were we? T. Roman, I've had tried twice to transition to most. Yeah, this is just, I didn't see that part. Yeah, it's detox that you're experiencing. Absolutely. Will Master says, is there still some room in February? I'm working on making my visit and I'm booking to deposit soon. Yes. So Will, as I was saying, we still have a little bit of space for February 26th. We are quickly filling up. We're booking people every day. There's not a lot of space left. We're going to be full, and you're going to want to book soon, or you're going to miss the opportunity to come in February. Now, anyone that's interested in joining us in February, or even if you're not, you want to remember that from the 19th to the 26th, we open for fasting on the 26th of February. On the 19th of February, we have our annual, it's our 5th or 6th, I don't recall which, annual fruit festival, and it's an amazing event. We've got 50 plus varieties of organic fruit. It's very high quality fruit, jackfruits and champadaks and all kinds of mangoes and all kinds of amazing things. Papayas are amazing. The pineapples are amazing. We'll have different varieties of bananas and melons and lots of things, and probably many things you haven't seen before. You may not have tried before. It's all delicious. We'll spend a day at an amazing beach. We'll spend a day at the highest waterfalls in Central America. We'll have a couple bonfires. We'll have live music, although we're still looking for a band. We've always had live music before. We hopefully will. We will have yoga classes every day. It's a fantastic event, and I think you'll find that it will be an amazing event for you. So if you're coming to fast anyway, you might want to come a week early and enjoy the fruit festival. It's a great way to prepare for your fast by keeping your diet clean. Okay, Karina's Dutch and Canadian. There we go. That just popped out at me. Thank you for sharing that. All right, let's see. Okay, where were we? Message is held for. Okay, where were we? Message is held for review. Okay. I'm going to look at your message. Charlie says, yes, my body for the first meal is always drawn to the highest water content, fruit available. I was just curious. Okay, no problem. There you go. Jeffrey says, hi, Loren, can you drink the water from the holding tanks above the hotel? Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure really which question is. I mean, that's why we have it. We have a 3-story tower where we have 10,000 liters of spring water held. The space is insulated, so there's no heat there. They're high quality tanks that don't easily break down, and they don't impart any flavor to the water. The water tastes and looks delicious. It's clear and clean. It tastes like nothing like water should. It's just satisfying, quenches the thirst, and doesn't impart any taste whatsoever. And so, yeah, absolutely. Audio Moon says, Loren, I love you. I have started juicing for my coworkers, and one is dealing with thyroid problems. What juices can help? Okay, so you may or may not be aware of this, but I'm not a huge fan of juices. Now, if someone has thyroid issues, like they're underproducing thyroid hormones, I don't know that juicing, any kind of juices, will help. I mean, there's a couple of things to understand. Many people do get healthier by drinking juices, adding juices to their diet, or adopting a juice fast, a juice feast where they're just drinking juices. But the reason for this is because it's not because juices heal us. The body's self-healing. Only the body can heal the body. But when we improve our diet in any way, the body has a better chance to cleanse and heal. And so that's what, if you were eating normally, let's say instead of juices every afternoon, you had a Coca-Cola, and you eliminate that and you start to add a juice instead, okay, you're creating less of a problem for your body, less of a burden for your body with diet. Now your body's going to have an easier time cleansing and healing. And that's what happens. And so someone might see some improvement by drinking juices. The very best thing that someone could do would be to fast. That obviously takes time. You have to be able to take off at least, well, mostly for thyroid problems, I normally recommend 26 to 30 days fasting, but I can't make a recommendation without having someone's specific information. So generally speaking, though, with thyroid issues, it works best with 26 to 30 days. We've had a lot of success with healing, having the body heal from thyroid issues. But again, fasting is way, way more powerful than drinking juices. So if someone's really ready to take their health to an amazing level, this is probably going to be the best that they can do. All right, Karine says, how's the weather over there? And how do you heat the center? What is the average winter temperature? And is it true that, I don't understand that part of the question. Let me change this, make sure I'm reading it properly. What's the average winter temperature? And is it true that fasting is harder in cold times? Okay, there we go. You finished it somewhere else. Is it true that fasting is harder when it's cold? Yeah, it is typically harder when it's cold for a couple reasons. Your body temperature tends to fall when you fast. And so if it's already cold and you're fasting, your body temperature is going to drop and you're going to feel pretty cold. And that's more difficult for sure. It's wonderful in a place that's always warm. So how do we heat the center? We don't heat the center. We don't need to heat the center. Coldest nights here are around 55 degrees Fahrenheit. I can't tell you exactly what that is Celsius. I'm sorry, you'd have to do the translation. You can do that, of course, easily online. I do it if I wasn't talking to two cameras, but it's a little distracting to jump off if I don't have to. So that's about as cool as it ever gets here at night, at like 4 o'clock in the morning. It's sunny here. I wish I remembered now. Someone asked me how many sunny days we have, and I was really shocked when I saw the answer, because it was something like 350 somewhere. There's very few days where we don't have some sun. And it's tropical, so it never gets cold here. I sometimes wear pants. In fact, I'm wearing long pants and flip-flops right now. And in the morning, remember, the coldest time of the day is typically at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's also when our body temperature typically reaches its coolest point. Body temperature goes up throughout the day and reaches the warmest point at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm up at 5 o'clock, an hour after the coldest moment of the day and the coldest time in my body. And so sometimes I've got on long pants and even a long sleeve shirt, usually a light cotton shirt. But I rarely need any more than that. Every once in a while I'll put on a sweater, a sweatshirt sometimes on the coolest day. Sometimes if it's very windy, very rainy, but most of the time, that's not an issue. And from now through April, it barely ever rains. The sun shines all day long. It gets, it's beautiful and warm almost every single day. So it's not an issue. The climate here is amazing. I know Holland quite well. I've spoken there many times, both in Amsterdam and various other cities. I was going to say Eindhoven. I haven't spoken in Eindhoven, but I have dear friends who live there, who used to live in Arnhem, and I've spoken in Arnhem many times as well. And I know that Holland, can be quite warm in the summertime, but the rest of the year, not so much. In the winter, not so much. And Canada too, depending on where you are, it's not really so warm most of the year. There's a hot summer, hotter than here. We also have no air conditioning because we don't need that either. My windows are always open. And in fact, we use jalousie windows, the pieces of glass little horizontal pieces that open and close. They're never completely closed. There's always airflow here, and that's amazing. I love that. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Okay, let's see. Oh, we have another super chat here I hadn't noticed until just now. Brenda Lee is here. Hello, Brenda. 6th annual. Thank you so much. Brenda has probably corrected me or told me, I don't know, 10, 20 times. Brenda has been involved with us. She's fasted with me here a couple times. She has been to our fruit festival a couple times. She's actually helped me organize in the past. I guess life is busy right now. I think you said that you might not be able to get here this year. We're thinking of canceling it if you can't be here, Brenda. What's the point, really? It's always wonderful having you around. If you're not going to join us this year, I sincerely hope you make it next year. But thank you. So this is the 6th annual Fruit Festival. I'll do my best to remember that from now on. Actually, it should be easy because that means the first one, no, 2022 is 2016. Okay, I was going to say 2015 is a nice round number, but anyway, 2016 was the first one. This is number 6. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And you didn't have to contribute to share that, but you know that I might not have seen it otherwise. So I appreciate that contribution as well. Let's see. Let me see, where were we? Okay, here we go. Chris Erickson says, how do you ensure that you get enough physical activity during the day? Is there a certain time in the evening that you stop exercising to prepare for sleep? And when do you go to sleep? Okay, and I'm guessing you're talking about me and not about my clients fasting, because when people are fasting, and Maytal, I'm going to come, is it Maytal or Maytai? I'm going to come to you in just a minute. Okay, so hold on. I'll be with you briefly, I promise. I'm sorry, I've gotten stuck over here on YouTube answering questions. So when our clients are fasting, I encourage them to do as little as possible. The less they move, the more benefit they get. That's really the idea. Okay, we want to rest as completely as we can. The less we do, the more benefit we get. So they hopefully don't do anything. What do I do? Well, my schedule is often very busy and it's difficult, but frankly, what happens, you probably can't see, there's a yoga mat, which sits right there. And then a couple times a week it's rolled out, and I'll use that to do some things like jumping jacks, etc., to warm up in the morning. I've got, you also can't see, but I've got right here on the floor, see if I can do it that way. There's push-up stands. They usually sit right on the floor there. And I have, for instance, when I'll finish this in probably 15 minutes. That'll give me 5 minutes before my 10 o'clock call with clients. In that 5 minutes, I may pee, I may fill up my glass if my glass is empty, but I'll also often jump down and do a set of 20 push-ups. And over the course of the morning, many days I'll do 100 push-ups or more. I'll also do dips. If you're not familiar with dips, it's where you support your body weight. There can be 2 bars. I'll actually go into the kitchen next door and use the L-shaped kitchen countertop and put a hand on each countertop. And I'll come all the way down. So I'm supporting my body weight on my hands and my arms. And then I'll come all the way up. I mean, it's basically this. It's just with the chair, I'm limited to how far down I can go. So it doesn't really make sense for me to do that here when I can step into the kitchen. If I have just a couple minutes, I can go in there and do a set of 10 or 15 dips, depending on how strong I'm feeling that particular morning. I love to be more active. And on Wednesday afternoons, I usually get to the beach. I like to take somebody, I'll body surf if there's waves. If there's not, I hope that I have someone with me who can throw a Frisbee and we'll play Frisbee. I like to be physically active. My schedule's busy. Now, here's the thing that's really, really helpful is that the cleaner your body gets, the easier it is to stay fit and strong. So it takes much less effort than it used to, okay? I'm not as big as I used to be. I had a bigger neck and chest and arms when I was younger, but for a guy who's 61, who doesn't eat much, and who doesn't do that much physical activity, I stay really, really fit and strong. And you can too. The key is to get your body clean and get your body hydrated, and then it works really, really well. Okay, Maital, your turn. Maital says, Hi, Loren. I gained 7 kilos in 3 months on a raw vegan diet. It's my 7th year of eating raw. I didn't change my diet. I'm eating pretty much the same. Thanks. So I guess you're asking what happened. And unfortunately, I can't tell you because there isn't enough information. But here's my guess. My guess is that after 7 years of eating raw, so it took 3 months to gain 7 kilos. That's a lot. My guess is what happened is, assuming your diet's been really clean the whole time, if you're eating nuts and seeds, all bets are off. If you're cheating every once in a while and not willing to admit it, then it's going to be a very different story because you're going to be storing garbage in the intestine. But my guess is start rehydrating the old stuff in your system. Now, we accomplished that here in about 5 days. We start rehydrating that stuff. And I've got people. I had a guy here who will be completing, well, today is his 14th day fasting out of 21. He came last minute. We had 1 or 2 spaces available because his twin brother was having such an amazing experience. He came in overweight. He gained 4 or 5 pounds of body fat the first day, 1 day of fasting. How's that possible? Well, it's not possible. You can't gain fat while you're fasting. But what happens is the machines that we use, the bioimpedance devices that we use to measure this, they subtract everything to determine how much fat you have. So if you're holding a bunch of water in the intestine, if it's mass the machine can't account for, see, if it's in the intestine, if it's anywhere else in the body, the machine sees that as body water. But if it's in the intestine, the machine's going to think it's fat. It isn't, obviously, but that's the only way your fat can go up. Now, he has gained body fat now probably 6 or 7 days or more. I don't remember exactly of the 14 he's fasted so far. I haven't seen his numbers yet today. I'll speak with him in a couple hours after my lecture here. At noon, that's when I see all the guests usually. And so I haven't seen him yet today. I haven't talked to him about his numbers. But that's probably what happened is you began rehydrating stuff. Now, it's going to be very difficult to get it out if your body hasn't had a chance to break it all down. So how do you do that? You know it. It's fasting. Fasting long enough and properly will let you get that stuff out of your body. Okay. In fact, I just realized I meant to say this earlier. I had responded to a question about eliminating mucoid plaque. At what point of the fasting process does that happen? Again, it doesn't usually happen while fasting at all. It usually happens while refeeding on about the 4th day for most people. But I have a client who is fasting with me for the 2nd time. The first time was 23 days. She didn't eliminate much old hard material. She came in with some very serious issues, vision issues, etc. And her body was obviously focused on that. She saw a tremendous benefit from it and came here to fast again. And today would have been day 17 of her fast. But last night, she had a rough night, and that included some vomiting. It included passing out when she stood up. And then she passed this, about a cup of what she described as being like cement, shaped like the small intestine, little hard pieces. I mean, super, super hard and painful to eliminate. This is mucoid plaque, and incredibly foul smelling. I mean, her diet's been perfect for 2 years. Okay. So we know it's nothing that she's eaten anytime recently. This is something that's been sitting in her body for a long time, and it doesn't usually come out. But because her diet was clean enough, her body was clean enough, she'd already fasted once before, she was able to move this stuff out faster than most people do. And her diet's really, really clean, cleaner than mine. And mine's pretty good. We were together a couple months ago in a city where we went to a raw vegan restaurant together, and she would only eat she took me, and she would only eat the salad. I was like, okay, yeah, I mean, I'll indulge every once in a while in gourmet raw vegan fare. She wouldn't. She'll eat very little of that stuff. She wants to keep it super clean because she just feels and functions so much better. Now, I do too, feel and function much better, but my body also bounces back really quickly. Like by the next afternoon, I'm perfectly fine. You know, some people, it can take them down for a week or so if they make those kinds of compromises. And you know, it's probably much better to just not go there, to not do that. Okay. So I hope that answers your question. You know, I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. My recommendation would be to fast. If you can't get here, I can guide you remotely, and we have an amazing remote fasting program. But if you can get here, most people find it's a lot easier and much better here. In fact, her first fast was remote fast, and she is so glad that she's here. It's been a much, much better process for her, in her own words. So anyway, I hope that helps you. Loren, son muy buenas sus comentarios. Muchísimas gracias. I'm guessing you can understand English since you're commenting. Maybe you already know or heard me say earlier, but I'm live on Saturdays in Spanish. So feel free to return, same time tomorrow morning. I'll be live in Spanish. Okay, I see Bryce is back with another comment. Awesome answer. Appreciate the reply and understand that longer is better. If it's hard to get time off work, is it unwise to continue working a hard manual labor while water fasting? I think unwise would be putting it rather mildly. The whole point of the process, Bryce, is to rest as completely as possible. So honestly, if you're doing hard physical labor, if it were me, I mean, what I would do is I would bank some money, and then I would ask for the time off. And if they said no, I would quit, because there's always jobs for manual laborers. You can get another job. You have to rest in order to get the benefit from the process and not hurt yourself. Okay, you definitely don't want to be working physically while fasting, not even for one day. Okay, it's a really bad idea. You just hurt yourself. You don't help yourself at all. Your body can't cleanse and heal if you're using all the energy to do physical labor. Okay, I hope that makes sense. All right, hello, Bear with Girl. Good to see you. Denise Graceflow says, how is the current progress regarding Las Cascadas? I already reached out via email, but didn't get a reply so far. I am so sorry. If you reached out on the Las Cascadas site, I've been so busy here. I'm a little behind. I will get to you this weekend, if not today, tomorrow. I'll do my very best. I'm so sorry. Progress is good. Just yesterday morning, we signed another contract, a small contract to purchase land. It's actually a very small piece, but it's along the road, and we had land on both sides, and there was a little hole there, so we were able to fill that in. We are currently redoing the entire entryway from the public road to where the main trail starts to go down into the preserve itself. This is about the preserve. It's about 1 kilometer, and that road was in terrible condition. It had been very poorly constructed in the first place. It was a dirt road, but the drainage wasn't handled properly, so there was major erosion problems. You could no longer drive all the way to the end. And that's what I used to do when I would go there, is drive into the end. You couldn't do that anymore. We've since completely redone that. We've widened the road, we've graded it, we've redone. There are 3 or 4 places where water needs to pass underneath, and we've replaced all the concrete conduit, giant concrete conduits, in order for that to happen. Done it properly with concrete construction on either side. We've got concrete gutters on both sides of the road to handle water flow. Now it's handled the way it should have been handled in the first place. That's one team. We're going to be doing a wall and gate there at the entryway, and we're focusing on this right now because it's the beginning of the tourist season. We want to be ready for tourists who want to come into Las Cascadas. If you're not familiar with Las Cascadas, by the way, you can go to lascascadas.org to find out more information. It's an amazing project that we are building here. We signed another contract with someone purchasing a lot, by the way, which is helping us move everything forward. And we have more of that coming up. But we have another team of builders. So from the top of the end of the road, our road, private road, we're now doing a parking area. There'll be a ticket booth when you come in. We want to build a bathroom. We need to get permission from the local community to get their water until we get approved for the concession to use the spring water on site. And that's what happens, unfortunately, in Costa Rica. We have spring water on every single property, but technically it belongs to the government. We need their permission to use it. So we won't be able to build those bathrooms until we have that permission. Same thing with a refreshment stand, a couple of them, one at the top and one at the bottom, because it's a long hike, and people, when they come up, they need something. I know I always do. And we want to be able to provide it there for people with this amazing view out over this incredible landscape. It's spectacularly beautiful. So we have another team that is rebuilding the entire trail. The main trail that goes down is about 2.5, 3 kilometers long. In some places, it was only about a foot, 30 centimeters wide. We've made it 4 feet, 120 wide all the way down. We've leveled it. In some places, it's quite steep. Where it's steep, we're putting in steps. You know, it might be a step and then like a meter platform and then a step. And some places, if it's super steep, it'll just be like stairs. Okay, and handrails all the way down. Because not all the way. I mean, there are some places that are relatively flat or not a problem, but there are some places that were pretty steep where you might want to have something to hold on to, and some places where it dropped off. And so we've invested quite a bit over just the last 2.5 weeks. This is the 3rd week of construction there now. Actually, they started on this coming Monday. It'll be 3 weeks ago. So it's about 2.5 weeks we've been working over there and made enormous progress. That's all great. We're working hard on getting, in fact, right now my lawyer is in a meeting with the local water boards, with an organization that represents all the local water boards, so we can hopefully move along to begin building in the community sooner than later. We are still offering the discount, the 20% discount on lots, and we're doing that because we can't build yet. So we're asking people to, you know, hey, take a 20% discount, help us move the project forward. Every month I am paying out probably $15,000+ now in payments to landowners that we are buying over time. We're making payments on. We have quite a few now that we're doing that way, and we have others that we have a big payday coming up in February. So your help, you know, if you're interested in buying into the community, that would help us stay on track. We're going to make it happen no matter what. I mean, I'm completely committed to that. But we are a bit short for that next big payment. So feel free to, I'll respond to you and we'll go from there. Okay. Again, sorry. So sorry for the delay. I wonder how I can possibly participate. Well, the best way to participate, there's a couple of options. One is to buy a lot. And the other one is, if you're someone who has been very fortunate financially and you have large amounts of money that you're interested in investing, then that's great. We could use that investment. And there's going to be, we're actually working on completing an executive summary, which will give all the information about how the project earns money and what returns will be, et cetera. And understand, for everyone here, I mean, the land is owned by a nonprofit foundation, or will be. We set up a nonprofit foundation. It will eventually, all the land will be transferred to it, except for the communities, which are owned by community members. So I own my lot, you own yours, and we all lot owners have a share in the community. All the communal land is owned by everyone. So we've got a couple of rivers in the community. We've got waterfalls in the community, small falls. It's spectacularly beautiful land. And we're going to plant thousands of fruit trees in the community that belong to everyone. There's a lot of benefits to being part of the community. Those are the best ways to get involved. Okay, it's we will need people to help run things. Obviously, I'd like that to be community members. So the best way would be, if you want to participate in helping to run something, there's going to be tons of opportunity there. We're going to need good, smart people to help us make this all happen. But the best way would be to join the community first, if you're able to. Now, if you're not in a position to put up all the money to buy a lot, you can also do that with a $5,000, $10,000, or $20,000 down payment, and then monthly payments over the next 5 years. Obviously, the larger the down payment, the less you wind up spending. Okay, that's the way it works. So again, I'll get back to you, Denise, and we will go from there. Okay. Angelo Silva, good to see you here. I need to change this angle. Never opposed Nirvana, good to see you here. I find this is the hardest part of doing these broadcasts, is to get the screen angle for the camera right. It's a little harder to read. I need to tilt this back so it's at a better angle to read. But then it's, to me, it looks kind of fun. Maybe I should just not worry about that. Anyway, hello, Sherry. Good to see you here. Optimus Hypnotherapy. Good to see you. Sophia Liberata. Bryce, In the supermarkets, fresh food market, and organic stores where I live, there isn't a massive variety of fruit. To get the best out of a fruit and lettuce-based diet, do you need a large variety? You do not. You do not. All you need to do is make sure that you're getting, I mean, you don't want to try to live on two things. That would be a mistake. Honestly, for many years, I'm 16 years here in Central America, our staple foods have been watermelon, papaya, pineapples, mangoes, and salads most of the year, some bananas, and salads most of the year. Now, there are some times we'll have other things, but most of the fruit markets don't have a lot of variety. Now, of course, we've planted more than 200 varieties of fruit here, and it will be the same in the community. The community will plant everything we can. Here we have limited space. We'll have much more space in the community than we have here. And so we're planting tons of fruit. We'll have more and more variety all the time. We currently have probably, I'm going to guess, at least 100 small jackfruits, some of them not so small, on our trees. We're hoping they'll be ready by the fruit festival. I'm not so sure they will be, but we'll see. They take a few months to grow. If not, we're going to be overwhelmed by jackfruit after the fruit festival. In any case, you don't need a huge variety. You need to have probably at least like 9 or 10 different things you eat. I mean, what I did for years. I mean, I was my first 14 years eating this way. I'm 30 years now, but my first 14 years were in North America. And what I had over the winter was apples and pears, and I would have a couple of varieties of apples and a couple of varieties of pears all the time. I would have oranges, grapefruits, red or pink grapefruits, tangerines, sometimes a couple different varieties. I would have some dates, although you don't want to eat a lot of those because they're dry. I would have bananas. There's a time in the fall where there's fresh figs, there's fresh persimmons, there's fresh pomegranates, but none of those things last very long. The figs are really more towards late summer, early fall. And kiwis we could get all through the winter. And that would be pretty much it. And salads, that would be pretty much it most of the winter. Not a lot of variety. And then, late winter, early spring, we'd start to see more berries, a few other things. It really wouldn't change dramatically until like May or June. We'd start to see things like early peaches, cherries, plums, things like that. I mean, most of that's really in the summertime. And so, I had a very limited diet and did really, really well doing that for years. It's not optimal, but it works. It's still okay. Okay. So I'm going to do a quick check for other super chats. I don't see one. I'm sorry if I haven't gotten to you. This is why we offer super chat. So if you want to make sure your questions get answered, you can do that. You can make a donation. Unfortunately, there's too many questions here to answer everyone's questions. And so I'm out of time now and need to go. Okay, I've got a question here. I'm just noticing. Someone says, who is this? One time's enough. I can see your question 3 times now. Okay, please don't do that. Don't keep posting the same thing. Okay. Esau says, hello, Loren, you're looking well. I did a 1-week water fast and only lost about 3 pounds. Why did I lose so little weight on 240-pound man standing 6 feet tall? It's because you have an intestine that's filled with old fecal matter. Okay, you're literally full of crap. Because of that, I told you just a few minutes ago, I'm not sure if you weren't here, but I said how a client on his first day here, gained 4 pounds of body fat. Okay, what's happened is you're holding a bunch of water, rehydrating stuff in the intestine. Okay, let me make a suggestion to you. If you care about your health, let me guide you through the process. Okay, I'll guarantee the results if you follow my coaching. Some troll posted today, I went to Loren's place. It was, it's a scam. Nothing happened. On the same YouTube video, there were 15 clients. On the same YouTube video, there were 15 clients saying it was an amazing experience. And this one person saying, I said, either you're a troll or you didn't follow my coaching. Okay, if you follow my coaching, I guarantee the results. It happens every single time. All right, guys, I've got to go. I hope you have a fantastic weekend and a beautiful week coming up. Again, if you're just getting here, I mentioned that I won't be here on Friday, but I will be here on Thursday morning at 9 o'clock instead. Okay, so it'll just be one day early next week. Okay. Can't do Friday, but I will be here on Thursday. So I'll look forward to seeing you then. I love my microgreens though. Yeah, but they're garbage. I mean, you can't get, food is fresh food. There's no such thing as high quality processed food. It doesn't exist. Microgreens, something I'm sorry, if you're talking about fresh greens, that's fine. I thought you were talking about a powdered supplement. That's not something anybody needs or should be consuming. And those love songs, Martha has just showed up with a $35 contribution. Thank you so much. I appreciate that so much, Martha. I hope you and everyone here has a fantastic weekend. Much love to all of you. I'll look forward to seeing you sometime soon. Bye-bye, everybody.